everybody. It's Trish Carr at Women's Prosperity Network, and I am so excited to be here with you today. I want to get right to the point. We are here because we want to save you money. And if you're in business, we're always looking for ways to cut costs. So my guest today is Jan Osborne, and Jan has a way for you to save money as money's coming into your business. And, you know, Jan, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here.
I'm glad. Thank you.
I love your story, Jan, about Jan lives in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, one of my favorite cities, the capital of Louisiana, and a very fun place. Everybody always talks about New Orleans, but Baton Rouge is a fun place. I love it there. And before she moved to Baton Rouge, she was living in Oklahoma, and she owned a retail store. It was Jan's Patio Furniture, huh?
Yes, for 20 years.
Well, that's probably a story in and of itself. How did I go from 20 years in retail business into what you're doing now? And what you're doing now is really what you're passionate about. And it's about saving people money when they process money coming into their business. So what was your experience when you were still at Jan's Patio Furniture when it comes to processing and the money that you were spending on it?
Well, like most business owners, I thought credit card processing was credit card processing, and it was the same for everybody. I had no idea that there was different programs available. So a gentleman came and shared with me information, and I learned that he had a different program. And ultimately, it saved me over $20,000 a year in credit card fees.
$20,000?
Yes. So that got my attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I took a deep dive into credit card processing, some of my other fees as well, because if I was overpaying here, I might be overpaying here. And ultimately, when I moved to Baton Rouge, what I decided was, rather than go back into retail of any kind, because you're kind of married to the brick and mortar store, I would help others with my knowledge. So I started learning credit card processing first. And actually, it became my love. It's so exciting to be able to help people save money, have more money for the things they love. I could have bought more furniture with that $20,000.
You could have gone on a trip to Bali.
I could have gone on a trip to Bali. I could have taken my daughter somewhere. Anyway, there's always, whenever there's savings, there's something else you can do with that money for the things you love. And that's what really excites me, is giving people the opportunity to do that and maybe stay in business when they're struggling. Maybe that push them over the line to stay in business. So that's become my passion, to help others and serve others in that way.
Well, I'm really excited because you're going to help Women's Prosperity Network save money on our fees. And let me tell you that we've been using, traditional ways of doing it. I think we've been using PayPal since the very beginning. And I think one of the challenges that most business people have is that we're so busy doing what we're doing, and we have things in place that we don't look at, hey, what can I change that's already in place? Because if it's not broke, don't fix it. But how do you know it's even broken if you're not looking at it, right? But the challenge is that in order for you to look at it, in order for Jan to look at it, it means you have to stop as an entrepreneur for 15 minutes. And we just don't want to. It reminds me of my sister, Nancy Matthews, has this great cartoon that she shows. And it's three Stone Age people pushing a cart that has square wheels.
Right.
And they're pushing and pushing and pushing. And there's another Stone Age person over there with a wheel that's round and says, hey, I got just what you need. And the three pushing the cart with the square wheels go, oh, we don't have time for that right now. And that's kind of what happens for entrepreneurs, right? So what was it for you that made you say, you know what, I'm going to look into that?
Well, it actually happened to me. I pushed him away probably as many as 10 times. I'm too busy, just like the normal business person. And finally, he kept coming back. He knew he could save me money. He kept coming back and holding my hand. And I said, okay, let's Nike. Let's just do it. And then I learned. So sometimes you just have to slow down. And when not every single person that walks in your door is going to be the right one. And I didn't even research this guy, but he was so knowledgeable and so understanding and so persistent that I thought, well, I can give him a try. It wasn't under contract. And that's important because I don't do that either. I don't put people under contract. So I want everyone to be happy. And if they're not, I have the opportunity, but I'm going to advise them no matter what, even if they're not with me.
Yeah, it just goes to show that consistently following up makes a difference. If you just stop after the second time, you never would have checked that. You never would have made that extra 20 grand in your business. So just say yes and give yourself 30 minutes or a half hour, 15 minutes, whatever it's going to take. So tell us, what are the things that we want to consider in terms of saving money on our credit card transactions?
Well, nobody reads their statement, and that's really important because your statement, if they're going to raise your rates, it's in your statement 30 days in advance. So if you would read your statement and see that your rates are going to go up, you might be able to do something about it. You might realize that it's time to take a look. Another thing is on the statement, there are often fees that are inappropriate, are hidden. And if there's something on there that you don't understand, call a professional and ask the question. You can call me anytime and ask any question, and even whether you're with me or not, and I will help you because that's how important it is for me to let people know the truth. I mean, I've seen fees that were named a totally different name. And it would be like $99 for something. And that sometimes I have to find somebody to answer my questions. Like, what is this? So as a business owner, you probably want to look at your statements. You want to know that oftentimes, 99% of the time when you fill out an application, you're probably signing a contract. And the contract has terms and conditions that are not pretty anymore. Nowadays, they want to keep you.
Right.
So they automatically renew. They only give you a small window to cancel, or they make it impossible to get out and change. But I have some little tricks of the trade that I can work my magic to get people out of their contracts.
Oh, okay, good. So if you're in a contract, it doesn't mean that you can't change. It just means you need to get in touch with Jan. And she can do what she can do in her magic and get you out of the. That's so great. All right. So you said make sure you read your statement every month. Look for fees and make sure that they're appropriate. If you have any questions, call the company and then maybe call an outside professional like yourself who can help you navigate. And lastly, whatever you sign, you want to make sure it does not say that you're going to be into a contract. Perfect.
Yes,
and then, you said you had some fun facts. Before we get into the parameters around credit cards, I'd love to hear your fun facts. So tell us fun facts about Jan Osborne.
Well, I met and married the love of my life who races cars. And
wow.
It's very fun. We travel all over the United States. We're going to Birmingham, Alabama in July, the end of July.
Birmingham, like Talladega? That kind of?
Well, it's not going to be the kind on television. It's more of a private courses, and most of them are just gorgeous. The one we're going to this month is gorgeous, but he's also a trainer. So if you don't know the course, you have to ride with a trainer first, and that's Rod. So he gets to ride in a lot of different fun cars, and it's very expensive because one thing I always tell people that they are surprised about is we buy the tires used from the race car drivers on television, and because they're like $1,000 a tire, and he needs 8 of them. He needs 4 in the car, and he needs 4 extra. So he'll get them for $300 or $400 because they have to change their tires after so many times around and get rid of them. So that's a fun fact.
Right.
So
Quite an expensive hobby. Quite an expensive hobby for sure.
yeah,
That's awesome. All right, let's save your other fun fact for after we talk a little bit more about credit cards, because I know you have a real. Jan has such an interesting story. This fun fact you're going to hear about her, so make sure you stay with us. So tell me, when is the right time for someone to look at, hey, do I have the right credit card processing? Like, is it a certain number of monies, a certain amount that's coming into your business that you want to start thinking outside of just using PayPal or Square or swiping or any of those traditional ways? At what point do I say, okay, I really want to save some money here?
There is a really simple way to know what you're paying. It's not something I can probably teach you right this second, but I'd be happy to teach anybody that wants to know. But if you notice your fees going up, I would say that's a really good time to look at your credit card processing, because one of my customers, his fees went up 400% from the time he signed an application to the time I met him. And so I put him with a company that doesn't raise their fees, and he's not under contract, so he doesn't have any of the bad stuff anymore. And he's just thrilled to pieces. He's so happy. He just glows. When I come by, he's like, oh, there's my Jan,
Yeah, anytime you can save me money, you're my favorite person for sure.
Yeah. So
that's great. Is there, is going outside of the traditionals, the PayPals, the Squares, all those other things, there's a big one now that people are using. Can't remember what that one's called, but is there a certain amount of money I need to be bringing into my business before I graduate, if you will, to the next level of having a merchant account?
I always say if you're processing less than 5,000 or less, you're probably going to be okay with PayPal as long as there's no problems with your tickets.
Now, is that 5,000 a month?
5,000 a month.
Okay.
And some people have higher tickets and get in trouble with their funds being held. So that would be another time, no matter what you're doing, to look at a merchant account, because they will approve you for the size of tickets that you're doing. I had one gentleman who came to me, was an advertising agency, and PayPal held his funds for 28 days.
Wow. And
he couldn't back it out because you get charged twice. Once on the end, when you run it, and if he had asked for a refund, they would charge him again.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing is chargebacks. So somebody buys something and then they return it. Are there considerations in terms of that as well?
The liability is on Visa and MasterCard as long as you're using a chip reader and reading the chip in the card. So if you're just swiping, like let's say you're on Square, which is fine. Maybe Square is the right thing for you. And you're not reading this chip that's on the card, right?
Right.
You're just swiping, the liability's on you. So if you get a chargeback, let's say you're a hairdresser and somebody comes from out of town, they don't like their hair, they go home and they call Visa and say, I don't want to pay for this, it's terrible.
Right.
You lose. The hairdresser loses that money for her service because she just swiped and didn't read the chip. There's various ways to read the chip. I don't have to go into that, but reading the chip is the most important thing for the liability not to be on you.
All right, cool. All right. So if you have an account now and your fees have changed, you definitely want to be in touch with Jan. If you're billing more than $5,000 a month, you want to be in touch with Jan. And if your funds are being held for longer than you think is reasonable, and to me, one day, you want to be in touch with Jan. So, Jan, tell us, before I do that, I know that you have a free report on your website, the top 5 considerations. So I want to make sure everybody knows about that and they can get that. Just go to janosborne.com, just simple, easy, and you can get that free report. And now I want to hear your other fun fact.
Well, it's kind of a crazy thing. I had a near-death experience, and somebody saw me hit this brick wall at 70 miles an hour and saved my life. Pulled me out of the car, jump started my heart again, got me breathing, took me to the trauma team. That has given me a new lease on life. It's given me a new determination to go the extra mile and add inspiration and adventure to my service to others, because when you almost lose your life, it changes your perspective on what's important to you. And what's important to me is serving others.
So you were actually like, did you see the white light and all of that?
God kept me from feeling the pain, I think, so I didn't experience that, because I'm sure it was very painful. I broke my face and my arms and my neck, and I was pretty broken up. But luckily I got put back together and I'm fine. So
I know, I broke my face. That's like, holy moly.
I got pins in my face, but
wow. So was this someone just someone was in the neighborhood and saw you, or like a lay person brought you back to life?
No, I was driving on a highway, hit the brick wall. An ambulance driver was driving the other side of the street. So I know my angels were taking care of me.
Wow.
Got off, came around, realized that he needed to get me out. And then I wasn't breathing and my heart wasn't pumping. So he, like on television,
wow.
got me back. Here's a funny thing though. When I was in the hospital, I was wondering where my leather coat went, my favorite leather coat. And so I contacted the ambulance driver, and he goes, "Oh, honey, we have to cut those off when you're dying, you know." So.
Sorry, you had to give that up to come back to life. I'm sorry. Couldn't have your leather coat. What a story, Jan. You know, it's really true. It is your angels. Like, what's the likelihood that right there is an ambulance driver and there they are to help you? So obviously this was some kind of a test, some kind of a, hey, what are you doing with your life thing? And it really gave you new inspiration. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. It changed my whole thought process on, before I thought having a lot of things was really important. Now it's not important. What's important is love and helping others and giving them admiration and acknowledging who they are and helping their business stay afloat, whatever it takes to make them feel great. Yeah. And see their smile. I want to see smiles.
Yeah. You're the epitome of showing up as the one.
Oh,
to
good.
Be the one for other people, to be the one who can make a difference for someone. Even if it's just giving somebody a smile and you get a smile back, that's being the one. So that's awesome. Jan, thank you so much. Let me give a quick recap again. If you're make sure you read your statements. If any of your fees change, or if there are any questions on your fees, make sure you get in touch with the company or be in touch with Jan Osborne. You can be in touch with her at her website, easyjanosborne.com. And then if you're in a contract, you can get out of it and be sure if you're going to sign anything that there's no contracts. The other thing is, if you're seeing your fees change, you want to talk to Jan. If you're billing more than $5,000 a month, you want to talk to Jan. If you have your funds are being held, like the story about the person who had to wait almost a month for their funds, you want to talk to Jan. So Jan, anything else you want to say before we go? And I want to make sure, again, I'm going to put this up on the website, your website, so everybody can go and pull this report. What else do you want to finish with, Jan?
Well, the report's going to cover some of the things we spoke about today. So it's kind of nice to have one piece of paper that reiterates what we just spoke about so that you don't forget. And so that's why I put that paper together. It's just a one sheet of the most important things to think about. Now, we didn't talk about cybersecurity. That's just another subject that people need to know about, but we don't have to go into right now. Nobody is too small to get compromised. So I always make sure that all of my accounts are secure, no matter what. So I appreciate you having me.
And people, when I give you my credit, I'm sorry, I overtalked you there.
Go ahead. When you give me your credit card, is that what you're going to say?
When I give you my credit card, I want to make sure it's safe. I do. Online, offline, I want to make sure it's safe. So that's a big consideration as well.
Because it's awful going on. All the stealing that's going on with the numbers, and they're running them. They're selling them on the dark web. And if you get a penny test on your account, somebody's got your number.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what they do, is they test a penny to see if the account is good. Call your bank.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Jan Osborne, thank you so much. I really urge all of you to be in touch with Jan. For those of you who want to give her a phone call, she's listed in the womensprosperitynetwork.com member directory. You can go there and just click, and you'll send her a message, and you'll be private, and it'll be between the two of you. So you can always do that, or just go to her website at janosborne.com. Thank you so much, Jan. We all want to save $20,000 like you did, so we can go to Bali or wherever we want to go. Thank you so much for being with us today, Jan. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. And thank you all for watching. And I hope that you learned a few things. Your money is important. Don't be pushing your cart with a square wheel when a round one is right there available for you. Thanks, everybody. It's Trish Carr saying goodbye. Have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you.